Sources tell us that the Cuban military is placing Cuban flags on those that they are watching. You have to think back, about 5 weeks ago was when social distancing began. These businesses closed and the streets became empty. Brickell and 13th Street. Take a look at this. You can see the wind blowing all the water across the intersection, knee deep.
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Good morning. It's 4:30 Tuesday, October 12th. I'm Maribel Rodriguez.
And I'm Jessica Vallejo. Thanks for joining us. Here are some of the stories making headlines this morning. The woman told police she was walking, and that's when the man jumped out of that bush with a pocket knife. He attacked her, but luckily she did get away. And with these new rules, there will be a larger police presence, but also tonight, the city of Miami will issue a curfew starting at 10 p.m. and it will last until 5 a.m. tomorrow. She's kept in contact with many medical doctors and researchers who say there's new research coming from this variant, one regarding children. So if you're a parent, take a listen. They knocked debris off balconies, which officials did fear it could fall and hurt the rescue teams. And inside, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue have been scouring through the basement filled with water. But back out here, heavy smoke in the area, multiple units responding, helping out those that were already out there. And again, like I mentioned earlier, with this rain and the fire, everything going on, they say they're not going anywhere and they will not stop. I'm live in Surfside. Maribel, we've had hundreds of people come here, but take a look. We're here actually at the end of the line. This car, he's the last one coming. And if you violate these orders, you could be fined up to $500. What Floridians think about the pandemic. More heavy rain and stronger wind gusts coming in here. Take a look again at this road here. Cars are getting stuck out here, so officials do urge you to please stay inside, or if you are out here, to drive safely. We're live in Brickell. Jessica Vallejo, CBS 4 This Morning.
Vallejo was at that rally today where organizers invited several Cuban artists to perform.
Jessica, now everyone was happy that the rally at one point turned into a concert, right?
That's right. The minute Gente de Zona actually started to perform a song, the crowd shut it down and demanded instead that their voices were heard, which is what people continue to do here. This is Calle Ocho. It still remains shut down. You can see people holding signs saying "Free Cuba," and behind this gentleman, you'll see that big crowd still here on Calle Ocho demanding a free Cuba.
Trying to help amplify their voices.
It was another day in Miami where Calle Ocho was flooded with many Cuban Americans standing in solidarity for the Cubans dying in their streets.
They have sticks and stones, and these people have guns. They're beating women to death. They're killing children. They're stealing, kidnapping children. It's heartbreaking, and they need help, you know?
Since Sunday, thousands of Cubans have taken the streets demanding for the end of 62 years of a Castro communist regime. It's been years of broken promises and lies. The dictatorship has suppressed the people from having basic human rights, food, medicine, or liberty. They say they are no longer afraid and tired of suffering and being tortured. And since the Cuban people have protested throughout the island, the government has cut the internet connection. But the people are begging those on social media to share what's happening.
The videos are sickening.
This video was posted on Instagram. It shows a woman begging the Cuban police not to shoot inside her home, but her husband is shot and taken while her children were inside. Social media flooded with videos of not just police beating, shooting, and arresting those speaking out, but now also taking in young teenagers, forcing them to go against their own people and family.
They're asking the kids to fight for their own country. They don't, they get killed. It's bad, really, really bad.
And while Cuba remains in the streets, so does Miami. Wednesday, Cuban Americans continued to chant, "Down with communism, liberty." At the protest, local artists like Gente de Zona took the stage to sing their Cuban patriotic song, Patria y Vida. And as they went to perform a second song, it was shut down by the crowd, demanding to have their voices heard instead. Yotuel, who sings Patria y Vida instead, did not take the stage and called on the U.S. to do something.
If we don't do anything now, nothing's going to change.
Still
out here and they're chanting freedom for Cuba. And again, this is not about those COVID-19 cases rising in Cuba. This is about 62 years of a communist Cuba, and they're tired. I'm live in Miami, Jessica Vallejo, CBS 4 News. A heartbreaking update from Miami-Dade officials. 159 people still unaccounted for after this Surfside condo collapsed early Thursday as people inside were sound asleep.
My mom is inside. She's in 603. I'm hopeful. I see them working on the 03 line right now. I'm just praying that they find her.
Rachel Spiegel is one who came with her family to the scene. She wants her mother to know they are waiting for her to come home.
She's loved by so many, and we just want to bring her home.
Just agonizing moments for family and friends desperately searching for their loved ones. Nicholas Fernandez had friends visiting, staying in the section of the building that collapsed.
For units, the unit is no longer there, like it's gone. It's a piece of earth. I think they are gone. I don't want to be pessimistic, but they are, we've been calling them like non-stop, no reply.
And others are praying.
To say a prayer for them, they should have a or they should be found.
More than 75 rescue and search teams remain looking for survivors through the rubble. And this impressive video shows Miami-Dade Fire Rescue inside a basement filled with water looking for survivors.
Listening devices that we have as part of our cache of equipment. We also stop and hail, call out to in the rubble pile, listening for any sounds, tapping, voices, anything that we might hear.
I could feel the ground shake. At first it sounded like, maybe like a storm, maybe thunder.
Nicholas Balboa ran to the rescue after the disaster. In just moments, he saw a little boy who was trapped in the debris.
I could hear somebody yelling in the debris. What he was actually saying was, can you see my hand? Can you see my hand?
Rescuers were able to reach him and save the little boy.
We were there. We were letting him know that we were there. And he said, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. So I told him that we wouldn't leave him.
And we are here in the corner of Harding Avenue and 88th Street. It's just a block away from the scene. As you can see, more than 80 units still inside looking for survivors, and they will be doing that throughout the whole entire night. And just earlier, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue also tweeted for those that live in the area that it is a smoky condition to please stay indoors. I'm live in Surfside, Jessica Vallejo, CBS 4 News Tonight. It's been nearly a year since CBS 4 News walked down the halls of this emergency room of Mount Sinai Medical Center. At that time, COVID cases were surging and deaths were uncontrollable.
It was tough physically and emotionally.
Pulmonologist Ari Cement has spent most of his time in the COVID unit since the very beginning of the pandemic, taking care of the most critically ill. While he brought comfort to those who didn't survive the virus, he has also saved numerous of lives.
Can she lift her hand and wave to me?
Yeah, levanta el brazo.
Oh my God.
But on this Friday, the ER is a bit different, and Dr. Cement tells me he can't help but reminisce.
The best word to describe is cautious optimism. We're at a very good point right now, and I'm just hoping that it stays steady.
In the state of Florida, the number of hospitalization rates continue to trend down. On Tuesday, according to the CDC, no new deaths were reported.
We are significantly improving.
Dr. David Farsi, the chairman of the hospital's ER, says a game changer has been the monoclonal antibody infusions, especially with vaccinated people. A recent trial showed
they don't die, right? That we know that. They get sick, they may get hospitalized. If they do get hospitalized and they receive the monoclonal antibody, they were out within 24 to 48 hours. So a significant reduction in length of stay.
People with mild symptoms and reinfections should get it right away.
There were a lot of missed opportunities when we see somebody who passes away from COVID. It's usually not only the fact that they were not vaccinated, but the fact that they were not advised to get the monoclonal antibody infusion.
As far as other treatment, Dr. Simmons says they continue using anti-inflammatory medications and remdesivir. And another important thing has changed.
In fact, allowing patient families to come in also helps the situation in terms of keeping the spirits alive.
According to the CDC, 59.5% of the state's population is vaccinated.
Pediatric population being vaccinated next week, I think it will help really bring this pandemic to a close.
And both doctors told me they urge people to get their boosters, especially with the upcoming holidays. They fear that the COVID numbers could increase. I'm Lada Mount Sinai, Jessica Vallejo, CBS 4 News Tonight. The time is ticking, and he's not stopping.
The Tiger's ready to eat.
On April 24th, this UFC fighter will face off against Kamaru Usman in hopes of becoming the new welterweight champion of the world.
I can't wait to get in and show the world what I've been working on, the fruits of my labor, since a child till right now.
But what some of you may not know is how his journey began right here on the streets of Miami. When Masvidal was just 4 years old, his father was sent to prison.
I thank him for his sacrifice for me.
His passion for fighting began when he was a child. As a teenager, he tells me he had to sleep in a car and sometimes under a gym ring to make ends meet.
Do I pay rent right now for like the next 6 months or save that money?
But his sacrifice started to pay off.
Let's go!
At the age of 18, Masvidal began fighting in the backyards against Kimbo Slice's protege. The fights filmed on YouTube were watched by millions. But one of those eyes observing was his father, watching on replay from a television in prison.
I could see it in his face that he was like proud, so I knew I was in the right path.
Masvidal began fighting professionally, and 4 years into it, he had his father by his side, not missing one of his MMA fights. It was the start of Jorge Masvidal's resurrection.
Wow! Unbelievable!
Reminiscing on his journey, Masvidal says he is not proud, but grateful.
It's going to be my day one way or another.
What an inspirational man. Now, Masvidal wanted me to share a message to those that have a dream. He says, look up towards the ceiling and keep your head up high. The platform is right in front of you to succeed.